Welcome back. Look, if you watched Portugal at Euro 2024, you probably had this nagging feeling that something was just off, right? On paper, they were an absolute juggernaut, but on the pitch, it was like they were stuck in second gear. So today, we're going to use our best possible potential to deeply analyze the source footage, just to better understand exactly what happened to this incredibly talented squad and unpack these structural, tactical, and historical disconnects that led to such a massive underperformance.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the Euro 2024 disappointment, look at club stars versus country passengers, break down an identity and tactical crisis, discuss defining a golden generation, tackle the Cristiano Ronaldo dilemma, and finally look at finding a new future.
All right, part one, the Euro 2024 disappointment. So looking at their exit from the tournament, especially against France and those earlier struggles with Spain, honestly, it felt incredibly predictable. The source material hits the nail on the head with this quote right here. Portugal spent 90 minutes waiting for something to happen other than just making it happen. I mean, let that sink in for a second. The analysis identifies that it wasn't a talent issue, right? It was this crippling lack of proactive execution. They played with so much caution, just lateral passes left to right, entirely devoid of risk. It's like they were waiting around for the absolute perfect opening instead of actually going out there and forcing one. Which brings us to part two, club stars versus country passengers. And this brilliantly illustrates the problem. Why do some of the best players on the planet suddenly look kind of average when they put on that national team shirt? Take Bruno Fernandes. At Manchester United, the guy is the main character. He's demanding the ball, making those high-risk, high-reward passes, firing shots from distance, and leading the team vocally. But for Portugal at Euro 2024, he was honestly practically invisible. He just sort of blended into the midfield, played incredibly safe passes, and looked way more like a passenger than a driver. And look, this isn't just to pick on Bruno. He's just the prime symptom of a massive systemic failure where almost the entire squad looked totally disconnected from their usual dynamic club form.
Let's move right into part three, an identity and tactical crisis.
So how does a team bursting with technical ability look this completely disjointed? Well, diving into the tactical setup reveals a few massive red flags. First off, Portugal threw out a bunch of elite technical midfielders, guys like Vitinha, João Neves, and Bruno. But instead of running the show, they ended up occupying the exact same spaces. They all wanted the ball at their feet in the exact same areas. The result? A total lack of central balance and zero chemistry. And because the middle of the pitch was so jammed up and stagnant, they had to rely way too heavily on playing out wide, basically leaving Nuno Mendes as their only real creative spark moving forward. It just turned into this super predictable loop of extremely safe passes and obvious crosses, all while completely wasting dynamic attackers like Rafael Leão, who actually want to take defenders on.
Naturally, this kind of tactical paralysis points the finger straight at the manager. Roberto Martínez takes a really heavy critique in our source material here. The sheer frustration outlined is that he was handed what is arguably the most star-studded Portuguese squad in history, and his system completely failed to unlock their immense potential. There's a deep irony here too. Just like he managed the Belgian golden generation without winning a major trophy, he's now facing the exact same accusations of taking a uniquely talented Portuguese generation and making them look tactically average.
Moving on to part four, defining a golden generation. Let's move to this and see how it builds, because to really understand why this underperformance hurts so much, you have to know what a golden generation actually means in Portugal. Before 1996, they rarely even qualified for major tournaments. That original golden generation tag started when they won the Youth World Cups back in '89 and '91. Suddenly, there was this massive, sudden hope. That built all the way up to 2004, where Figo and a very young Ronaldo suffered that heartbreaking loss to Greece at home. Fast forward to 2016, and they pull off this completely unexpected Euro victory. And then, we arrive at 2024. A vastly superior squad on paper, resulting in total tactical failure. Just to really hammer home that expectation versus reality gap, check out the contrast between these two rosters. The 2016 squad that actually won the European Championship had guys like William Carvalho, a really young Renato Sanchez, and Eder, who was playing for Swansea City at the time. Good team? Sure. Legendary? By no means. Now look at 2024. Ruben Diaz, João Cancelo, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leão. I mean, this 2024 roster is arguably the most complete squad Portugal has ever produced. The fact that the fairly average 2016 squad lifted the trophy, while this 2024 absolute powerhouse underperformed, is exactly why the current system is under such intense scrutiny. Section 5, the Cristiano Ronaldo dilemma. All right, here's the million-dollar question.
Is the Cristiano Ronaldo era over? For over 2 decades, the single biggest talking point for this national team has been, how do we build a squad to best suit Ronaldo? And look, back in 2008 or 2012, when the squad didn't have this insane top-tier depth, relying entirely on him made perfect sense. But the burning question right now is whether that strategy has turned into an anchor, holding back a squad that has evolved past needing a solitary savior.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the tactical paralysis it highlights. The team basically swung between two total extremes on the pitch. On one hand, they were forcing the play, constantly trying to get the ball to Ronaldo, even when tactically it made absolutely zero sense. But on the other hand, they were ignoring the play, doing these super slow lateral passing sequences for 50 minutes at a time that completely bypassed him and left him totally isolated. There was literally no middle ground, and it absolutely severely disrupted their offensive rhythm. The source findings neutrally lay out some pretty clear facts here. In crucial moments, like against Spain, he got zero effective service, which pretty much nullified him. Yet he played full matches even when he was visibly struggling, the Slovenia game being a huge standout. And all the while, you've got an informed backup striker like Gonzalo Ramos just sitting entirely on the bench. The overarching reality outlined here is that the squad now possesses the innate talent to perform at the highest level without relying solely on him. His omnipresence on the pitch has gone from being an absolute necessity to a highly debated tactical hindrance. Finally, Section 6, Finding a New Future. So the crucial point is, what are the definitive next steps for this incredibly talented group? The source material lays out 3 vital steps for the next major tournament cycle. Step 1, the team has to acknowledge that they are entirely capable of winning without forcing the offense through one single focal point. Step 2, they desperately need to establish a dynamic, proactive, tactical identity. They have to stop playing it safe, stop waiting for things to happen, and start dictating the pace of the game. And step 3, they have to maximize the crucial remaining prime years of their current stars. Guys like Bruno, Silva, and Diaz probably only have a 2 to 4 year window left at their absolute athletic peak. Which brings us to our final thought to leave you with. Can Portugal forge a new identity, or will they waste the remaining prime years of their greatest squad ever? The talent is undeniably there, no question. But talent alone doesn't win trophies, right? Cohesion, proactivity, and tactical balance do. The next few years are going to decide whether this group goes down in history as a true golden generation, or merely as a collection of brilliant individuals who could never quite figure it out together. Keep asking questions, keep deeply analyzing what you see on the pitch, and we'll see you next time.